I picked up my phone yesterday to call my daughter-in-law. I wanted to ask when the wedding was going to happen. I didn't expect much, but she looked straight into my eyes and said, "We got married yesterday. We only invited special people." I froze. My chest tightened. My hand shook. Yesterday. Yesterday? No call, no invitation, no text, nothing. I was erased. My son, the boy I had raised, fed, clothed, and prayed for, had married, and I wasn't worth a thought. I am Margaret Alma. And I will tell you right now, I loved that boy with everything I had. With my blood, with my back, with my heart. I paid his rent. I paid his school fees. I fed him when he had nothing. I tucked his children into bed. I walked miles in the rain so he could have what he needed. I stayed up all night worrying if his daughter had eaten. I sewed his shirts, washed his clothes, made sure his shoes weren't worn through. And I never, ever asked for applause. I only gave love. And yesterday, all of that counted for nothing. I sat down on the worn wooden bench outside my house, my phone still clutched in my hand, and I felt my chest pressed down with memories. The nights I stayed awake, the meals I skipped, the days I cried quietly because I had no money, but I couldn't let him go hungry. The receipts hidden under notebooks, the school fees, the rent checks, I remembered every sacrifice. And now? Gone. Invisible. Betrayal tastes like bitter coffee that burns your throat. Not the kind that passes quick, it curls around your heart, gnaws at your bones, and leaves you hollow. And for the first time in my life, I hated feeling invisible. I tried to call him. No answer. I called every number I knew. Voicemail. Hours passed. The neighbors whispered later about the wedding. "They looked so happy, Mama," one said. Happy. Gold. Everything paid. And me? I was nowhere. I went inside, sat in the dark kitchen, and let the tears fall. I thought about every promise I had trusted. Every "I'll pay you back tomorrow," every "I got this, Mama," every time I had put my life on pause to hold theirs together. And it hit me the truth. Love, sometimes, isn't enough. The next morning, I opened my notebook, the one I kept hidden under the bed. Every receipt, every date, every cent I had given him, all lined up. I called friends, neighbors, women whose children I had raised, mothers I had helped quietly. I asked them, "Do you remember when I stayed with your kids when they were sick? Do you remember when I lent you $50? I didn't tell them why. I just needed witnesses. People who could remember. People who could see that my labor, my love, my life was not nothing. Then I checked the house. The rental contract wasn't in my son's name. It belonged to a woman I had heard about in whispers, someone who handles things in this town. I took a photocopy and left. My hands shook, but my mind was sharp. I didn't act out of rage. I acted out of precision. Revenge is not fire. It's ice. It's slow. It's deliberate. I began to reinsert myself into the life they had ignored. I volunteered at the Sunday school my grandchildren attended. I folded craft papers, praised the little ones, helped the parents. Slowly, quietly, people began to talk. "They had a registry wedding," someone said. "They won't be at church this Sunday." Small pieces. Snippets. Evidence. Then I stopped being their safety net. No more money. No more bailouts. I wrote a calm, measured letter to my son. I would no longer be invisible. I would no longer be taken for granted. The reaction was immediate. Panic. Frantic calls. The landlord started sending warnings. Their borrowed world, built on my labor, began to crumble. And I watched quietly, savoring the slow, quiet justice. Months later, we sat at the kitchen table. My son across from me, raw, the boy I had raised finally visible under the man he had become. "Mama, we didn't mean to hurt you," he said, voice cracking. "Your wife?" I asked. "Yes," he muttered. No excuses. No apologies could erase the ledger I had built. No words could undo the years of invisibility I had endured. I wrote an open letter, not to humiliate, not to shame, but to tell my story. I sent it to the local newspaper, to online groups, to friends who had watched quietly. People read. People remembered. People acknowledged. Mothers sent me recipes. Strangers sent messages. "I remember you helping me." Fathers nodded silently, recognizing the work of a woman who had given everything. Consequences crept in. Privileges they had assumed gone. The woman disappeared to another town under another name. My son began, slowly, to rebuild honestly. I reclaimed my dignity. My voice was heard. My story was visible. I had not shouted. I had not raged. I had not destroyed. I had restored balance. Months later, I walked through the market with my head high. People nodded. Children ran up to me. My grandchildren watched, learning that strength is quiet, steady, unyielding. I am Margaret Alma. I was not invited to my son's wedding, but I was invited to my own resurrection, and I showed up. Revenge is not about rage. It's about restoring balance, reclaiming dignity, and making the invisible undeniable. And that is exactly what I did.